to jump in today. Today we were just talking for you guys that are on the call and others that'll listen to this recording that we don't have a big agenda today. We're going to keep it, pretty light. Probably make it fairly quick today. Um, but we were just talking about getting some feedback from you guys that have gone through the class, and as you think about the academy, does it, is it more helpful to talk about some of all the topics that you've seen? We're going through and refreshing and revising some of our content, but would it be more helpful to get more information focused specifically on passing the exam to become a licensed originator, or do we kind of keep it leaning heavier on, what's it like to be an originator, and what are the functions and tasks and skills that you have to be good at to develop a business and also know how to originate and fund a loan. So the more you guys think about that, the input to us would be useful. The reason we bring it up is passing the exam when you do the first one, it's hard. It's not an easy one. They word it pretty challenging in a way that you really have to study and prepare. So just kind of throwing that out there for anybody who listens to this coffee chat today, either live or on recorded version. Just give us some input on that. But I did want to, before Joe gets in, talks a little bit about prequals. I did want to just ask a couple of individual questions, and I'll put you a little bit on the spot, just because I'm interested to hear a little bit from you. So Oliver, when you think about making a career decision, if and wherever you are in that process, what are the things that concern you about being a mortgage originator, if anything does? I mean, is there anything that jumps out and you go, yeah, I wonder if that's going to be harder than I think, or if I'm going to be good at it? I mean, what's your thought process?
I mean, well, first of all, I already passed the MLS, well, NMLS test, the MLO test
Oh,
on my first
congratulations.
try.
Nice
Yeah,
job.
I got 86, so, but I really spent hours and hours and hours studying.
Yeah.
And this specific loan of officer academy has been super helpful because it really teaches you what the pre-continuing whatever, or the MLO courses does not teach you. So in my own opinion, in my own case, in my own situation, has been super has been a really a compliment of what I never got. I never got it when I got the my training to take the test. So it's a really good compliment. Okay. Now I can't speak for other students or other participants. Uh, Maybe they have a different case. I know it's a really tough test. It's really challenging, but I think, in my opinion, it's perfect. Now, I really appreciate all the effort and all the material, the content that you have uploaded to the modules. And actually, I almost every day go back and review different recordings. And I don't really think to add anything. I believe it's really helpful in my situation, since in my the level where I am. Like I said, maybe I would like to hear the input from other participants that they haven't taken the test, or maybe failed. But
Hey, Oliver, can I jump in a
yes,
second?
please.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I appreciate so much that you just took and passed that test. Can you share with us what you thought were like the more difficult parts or challenges on that test? I don't know if you remember specific questions or segments or topics or what, but can you give us any feedback on what wow, I'm not sure if I know this material when you were taking that test, because we would like to incorporate as much as we can into Loan Officer Academy, into not only teaching what a loan officer does, like Ed said, but also maybe some tips on helping you guys pass the test. Can you share anything you can think of?
Sure. I mean, the most challenging part is the most boring part, like
Yeah.
compliance, like TILA, like the regulations, trade. How can you apply these regulations to real life? That's the most challenging part. It's not really excited. It's not really. It doesn't fire you up as
Yeah.
other. But for the NMLS or whoever created the test is they I guess on compliance they put like 25% of the weight of the exam, something like that, 30%. So yeah, you need to be able to handle and be able to translate the regulations into real life scenarios.
Yeah. And the way they
So
word it is so challenging too.
it
The
is. I
yeah,
guess that's the tricky part because
yeah,
when you know the rule and regulations, but the way that they word it is the way you need to be able to translate and like kind of like understand what they really are asking and connect the dots between the question and the answers. So
yeah.
I don't know, maybe uh, taking test techniques. I don't know, dealing with anxiety, or I don't know how to uh, defragment or break down the questions. I don't
Were
know.
they
It could be
were they
a
multiple
topic.
choice, the ones you're referring to, those questions?
All are multiple choice. Yes, sir.
And
So
there was there
the
four choices?
four choices. You have the answer right in front of you. You need to choose it, right? And I mean, the thing is, you need to be able to handle the time. And if you don't understand one question, go to the next one right immediately. Don't spend a lot of time on one question because all the questions have the exact same value. So it's time management, like decodification. I don't know. Some this is about like take technique, or passing the test techniques. You know what I mean?
It
Yeah.
is a
It's not.
technique, you're right. And
Yeah.
So
just
I have
what
something to add.
I recall from taking those tests was, and I appreciate so much what you're telling us, but you have to first, like you said, know what the question's asking. Okay, because sometimes they put in a like almost a double negative that negates
True.
what the obvious answer looks like. Um, and so first and foremost, what's the question asking me? And second, when they give you four choices, this is my recollection, and I did well on all these tests, is two of the answers you can almost just eliminate, just get rid of them. And then
True.
two of the answers, both could be right. One is just more right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you need to,
And so,
if you know what the question's asking, you can then, okay, which one of these is more right for this question?
True.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Teresa.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Joe. One of the things that I did that helped me with the anxiety level of knowing that you're on a time test is know the percentage of how many you need to have right. So if you have to have 70% right and there's 100 questions, you know you need 70 right, obviously. And what I would do is when I knew for sure that no matter what that question was right, I did a hashtag. So I kept doing these hash marks, and that helped me because as the clock's ticking down and I'm worried, like, where am I at? I could go, well, I got 53, I know for sure that are right. And I know I passed on a couple of them to review later, but I know I've got this many right. And it helped a lot to be able to manage that through the time part of that test.
Yeah. That's a great point. Hey, Oliver, what kind of studying did you do in advance? Because there's multiple things you can do. You can take practice tests, you can get a tutor, several things.
I took it to MEC. It's Mortgage Educators Compliance. I don't know if you are familiar with that. I took a lot of practice tests. So maybe that's some we can add to the Loan Officer Academy, kind of like I don't know, maybe 80 questions. I don't know, 50 question mocking test, whatever. So the participants can start getting the feeling or having a glimpse of what's they're gonna face. But the more you practice, the more the more comfortable you will feel with it. It's about the knowledge, but it's about how to approach the test. You know what I
No,
mean? So that's
technique's a big part of it. You're right.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I mean, you can be really not. I bet a lot of really savvy and experienced loan officers, those veterans, maybe they can't pass the test. But maybe a brand new, a novice, a loan officer, but he or she knew how to approach the test, how to manage the test, like he can pass it. Like Teresa was saying, is right. I mean, also Ed, I mean, it's like a puzzle. You need to be able to connect the question to the answer. How does these two pieces of information connect better? Because like you said, you have four answers, and you need to eliminate one or two, and you stick with two. And one of these two, there's one that has more chances to be correct, or it matches better the question than the other one. But the answer is on the question. When you can understand what the meaning of the question, you have 80% of the answer right there.
Is
I'll tell you,
anybody else
that's
on
really,
Ed, I'm sorry.
well, I was just gonna say it's really insightful for first time, to take the test and pass it and have that much, I think, insight into the tactic and technique of taking those tests. So, good for you. But Oliver, did you already go through real estate licensing? Or is it
Yeah,
that one?
I'm also a realtor. I'm a real estate
Yeah.
agent, so I had a knowledge. I practice real estate, so it helped me a lot. I'm not new in the industry, so yeah, that also helped me. And really, it's a challenge. I mean, and believe me, the more tests you take, the more comfortable you will feel, because it's a monster you need to be able to handle. And I don't know. I mean, it's all about, like you said, Ed, techniques, techniques, and the more you practice, the more chances you will have to be successful during test time. And
It's
I guess
great.
that's
Great input. And I mean, honestly, Oliver, that's a great share for others who are just part of the academy and just looking into our industry to determine, is this something I want to do? And, what do I need to do to prepare myself? So great input from you. Let me jump a little bit around to Paul and everybody, by the way, everybody's at different journeys on where you are in your career path right now. So this question that I asked Oliver, that I'll ask others is really just, again, when you think about your career path and mortgage origination, what is it about it that sounds either appealing to you or something that you're concerned about? Paul, do you have any thoughts that jump out at you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm new to the industry. My wife is a real estate agent, and she actually wanted me to take the same career that she's doing. But I thought, for me, I think I'm more of a numbers person, so I kind of figured I'd probably be more comfortable doing that area of the loan. I already passed the test as well.
Congratulations.
And yeah, I think it would be a good idea, like when you're talking about RESPA, TILA, TRID, that when you're teaching that course, that maybe somewhere in there you can show where in practice that goes when you're doing loans.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, show, okay, you're doing the trade, you're doing the whatever it is. This is where you're going to see it happen more, and this is how it goes. I think that would probably help a lot.
That's good input. Yep. I can see that. Even having like a little section, one of the modules just around some of the things that Oliver talked about too, on just taking techniques and then applying it, like you just said, where when you think about TRID and you're having to answer these questions, where does it actually fit into what happens when you're doing a loan?
Yeah. I think that would be a good module to have. A good learning tool there.
All right, great one. Rebecca, what about you? Where are you at in your thought process?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually am brand new to the industry, and so everything's kind of, I'm learning as I go, but I too have heard that when it comes to the test, it's more focused on like regulations and the guidelines, and so all of these suggestions are great. I'm going to go into the on course for the 20-hour here
Yep.
after I finish the academy, and then from there I'll schedule my exam. But I also do have a book at home that is for the testing, and most of the quizzes and the tests do focus on the laws and the regulations. And there, I was thinking that it would be more, math questions, and there really isn't a whole lot.
Right. That's
So,
true.
so anyways, that's where I'm at, and I appreciate all the suggestions. It's very helpful.
Hey,
You
Rebecca,
guys,
what's the name of
no,
that book? Sorry, Ed.
no, you're good.
Oh, you know what? I found it on Amazon. Let me look.
Yeah, if you could share it, if that's something, a tool that, someone in the same situation could use, that'd be great. We can,
Yeah,
it has practice tests in there.
it does. It has 2 full practice tests, and then after each chapter, there's like a 50 quiz question on each subject that they're talking about. I'm looking, sorry.
I threw the mortgage educators in the chat for everybody that Oliver mentioned, and so I'd love to put that in our chat as well, the book.
Yeah.
So it's called the Safe Mortgage Loan Originator Study Guide.
Right up.
The author is Patricia O'Connor. I can email a link on the LO Academy if you guys would like. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I just got that just for practice, and it's been helpful. It as I'm reading through it, because I've already I just recently got it, so I'm familiar with some of the things that I've learned in the LO Academy. So it's all kind of clicking together. So.
Now, hey, Rebecca, from your perspective, is it better for us to keep our modules geared towards, like let's say we do insert a little more around test taking and vocabulary and tactics and the things that all of you have talked about, but is it still more helpful to keep us focused on, what's it like to be a loan officer, to talk to your clients, to, get through the loan process, or do we need to inject a little more of the text taking? I mean, what's been your experience of the mixture of content?
Honestly, I do feel like maybe injecting some of the test taking questions in there, but I'm more of a hands-on learner. So these last couple of weeks when we've been doing our prequels, I feel like that was really helpful in getting started. So I don't know, maybe like a mixture of it, because I do feel like when it's kind of like when you go to, college or school, you go into this, you go into your major and you learn all these things, but then once you get out into the real world, you're not really doing, things that you learned in school. From what I've heard from, I used to work at a construction company, and all the project managers, they went into construction management. They got their degree, and then the minute they went out to a job site, they're doing nothing they learned in, in their college course. So I feel like learning things that you're going to actually be doing as a loan officer is really great. But then also, as some of us that haven't taken the test yet, kind of preparing us for that as well would be nice.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good, valuable input for us too, in terms of how to kind of continue to shape our program. And because the thing we think about, and that I think about a lot, is in the LO Academy, I really want to inspire folks to feel good about this industry and how you can come into this business. And yeah, it's difficult to learn up front, but it's a lifelong career where you build a base of clients that you work with over many years. And there's, you know, it's a very unique profession. And so obviously all of us that are in it are very proud of it and we enjoy it and we want to inspire everybody to who's cut out to do it, you know, inspire everybody to get into it, but also mix in the right amount of preparation and I won't say avoid compliance stuff as much as, but no, I'm just kidding. Cover everything that we can so that we're informative, but also inspiring people to, want to be in the industry.
I don't know if Austin has anything to add on this, but he did have the opportunity to do the MEC, the mortgage educators, and also do an in-person class. So in your opinion, Austin, what was the better way to learn this, to pass your test?
Definitely in person. I would, and I was going to chime in here after Rebecca finished, but I'll start with your question. So I was a 23-year-old bartender when I first, 22-year-old bartender when I first started shadowing my mom, Teresa, and into the business, trying to open my eyes to what the mortgage business really was. So of course, as you could probably imagine, there was a mental block between, monetary mortgage operation and like food and beverage bartender. So the online education was, you finish it fast, you do the quizzes, you memorize the quizzes, you do them so many times you start to memorize them, which is horrible. It doesn't really adequately prepare you like the in-class did for me, because I was able to bounce questions off the teacher, sit and really hone in some of the things I was kind of a little hazy on still. Whereas and I'm sure with the world transitioning into the COVID, in and out of this COVID pandemic, has kind of reshifted many places to not do in-person classes anymore. But that helped a lot. I mean, if you have a chance or an opportunity to go to one of the local business schools or real estate schools and sit down in a class for 3 days, it's very helpful. Or build groups amongst each other, make Zoom calls and do study groups together. Diversify what your study techniques are. For me, one thing I learned and when I went to the face-to-face school was make flashcards. HMDA, orange, TILA, blue, RESPA, green. That way and then TRID would be a different purple card. That way, when you immediately think like, oh, this is how it integrates into real life, you're like, oh, that's a green card. That's an orange card. That's a red card. And that helped me a lot, because the biggest thing is, I think, discrimination laws and how many different times they confuse people into what partitions of discrimination really belong with what reg. And that color coordinated flashcard technique really helped me a lot. And once you learn it, you can burn it. Once you're done with it, pass the test, then forget about it, because the whole world is going to be so much more different than that when you really dive into originating loans. Like, it's important just to kind of remember in the back of your mind, everybody in the 2008 recession who got severely impacted was doing residential mortgages, and you can tell by by the case studies that you do. There's a reason this licensure is very important. And there's a reason all of these things are in place and all these rules exist. And how can you learn from that to catapult yourself further into success once you get your license, by learning from mistakes of others. To circle back to Teresa's question, I really liked and enjoyed the in-person training because it gave me different techniques for taking quizzes that I normally had not had built in prior. And then I passed the test. So it was a fun endeavor looking back at it now and how far since. But now I'm licensed in California, Arizona, and Nevada should be approved any day now. So
yeah, good. Congratulations.
A lot of fun. Yeah, but no, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, thanks, Austin. Always good stuff. I thought that great tips, especially on the flashcards. I was going to mention that earlier. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Hey, Magda, I saw you join. Thanks for that. And what we're doing on this call is we kind of took a little divergent tour and or just going around and asking about where you are in your journey of thinking about becoming a mortgage originator is kind of the first question. Everybody's at different places, and we've been talking about our LO Academy, and have we had the right mixture of experiential things like what's it like to be a loan officer, or do we need, we've been talking a lot about taking the test and preparing for NMLS licensing, and where are you in your journey as you think about a career path? And
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I was actually having technical difficulties logging in. So,
problem.
well, right now I'm actually, as soon as I get this done, I was gonna go ahead and start the training online. But I was hearing what he was mentioning, that he recommended going to the actual class. And right now with COVID, I mean, I don't know if there's any in-person onlines available. I did see that most of the training seems to be online now. I did want to mention, though, I actually had been doing some studying, and there's a lot of YouTube videos where people go over information, and they're very helpful even for some of the stuff for the academy, because it kind of throws it out there, and sometimes it's hard to understand what we're talking about. There's videos that really give good explanations on things. So that's another one. But I'm planning to become licensed soon, and then going forward with that.
Now that's fantastic. Another great tip. You know, this call, and Angela, we need to make sure we'll send this call out to everybody and really encourage everyone to watch the recorded version, because when it started with Oliver, and all of you guys have had really good thoughts and tips around how to prepare yourself to be a mortgage originator in our business. Hey, so Joe, I kind of derailed us off our original topic there. I apologize, but man, that was good input from all of you all, and I can't thank you enough. But do you want, before we run up against our time, do we need to cover any additional topics on pre-qual for the week?
No, I'm just going to add on to a couple things. 1 second. Never fails. I got to clear my throat when you call on me. But you know, what Magda just said, I love, because YouTube, I mean, I bought an old truck a couple years ago, and I wanted to do some work on it myself. And everything I wanted to fix was on YouTube, showing you step by step how to fix it. And I'm like, how cool is this? I don't even need to go to a mechanic, as long as I can get the tools to where they need to be and turn the wrench the right way. And I did a lot of stuff on that truck. Tying in with what I think it was Austin said, you know, some of the tips or tricks that I used to do for test taking is when they would say ECOA or TILA, I would add to it. I would call it ECOA, ECOAB, and then that made me know it was Regulation B, ECOAB. And then TILA, I would call it TILAZ, TILAZ. I knew that was Regulation Z. So instead of having to memorize a lot of that stuff, I would do those little mind tricks with tying together. How do I remember that ECOA is Reg B, TILA is Reg Z, and just add the reg letter behind it. So anyhow,
yeah, I'm
another
Dak.
good one.
Oh, yeah, you're totally right. I did that for sure.
it works. It absolutely
work.
works.
It stays
Teresa
over.
said hers was Ztilla.
Zilla.
Yeah, mine's TILA's. ECOA.
That's cool. Yeah,
So-
that's some good tips. So I know we're out of time, gang, and I want to, you know, be respectful of everybody's day, but this might be one of my favorite coffee chats, because it was cool hearing from everybody, all you guys, you know, and the comments and discussion. So great stuff. We will continue to, you know, encourage or add in more conversation around the test taking process and the tactics that all of you talked about. So that was pretty good. But with that, we'll wrap up. And let's see, we have one more coffee chat next week, Angela.
We do.
Okay.
And that'll be our final coffee chat on Friday.
Fantastic. So, you know, reach out to us during the course of this week if you have any other questions or you know, things you want to talk about, and we're always all available as always. And Joe, I'll let you, any wrap up comments from you?
Well, if next week's our last coffee chat, does it turn into happy hour after that, where we?
We didn't think about that yet. But that's not a bad idea.
I'm just saying.
That starts at
Just saying.
10:30 after the coffee chat
I'll
wraps up.
second that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the marketing manager here at Mount West Financial.
Very good. That's all I have, Ed.
That's Laura, marketing manager. All right, y'all. Have a great Friday, great weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye, thank you.
Only when you're logged into Citrix. So it's our staff portal, and in order to be able to access it, you just must be logged into Citrix. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter which location, it's not at the corporate office, at a branch, you'll still be able to access the internet, but you must be logged into Citrix. Number two is I want to remind everybody that this website